there a situation in your life that you have let go on for far too long and you know you need to stand up for yourself, but where to start? So today I am going to share some 9 tips and steps to stand up for yourself in your life. And number 1 is make sure you have heard the situation right. Sometimes our thinking is not correct and we can get caught up in what are called cognitive distortions. This means we think we know what is real, but we are thinking in extremes or catastrophizing and assuming the worst. Do you have all the information available about this situation or a person? Are you in any way making assumptions and telling yourself they are the facts? Such as assuming you know how the other person thinks instead of asking them. Second point is try different perspectives. Taking the time to see different perspectives puts you on better footing for negotiating and being heard. If you were the other person with their experiences and life, that might this situation look alike? And what about if you zoomed out to be an even bigger picture? If this situation was a film and you and the other person just characters, what else might you notice as a watcher? Number 3 is decharge in advance. How to stand up for yourself as calmly as possible. Emotions are useful things that help us recognize our limits and set boundaries. But when it comes to speaking up for ourselves, they muddy our thinking and can make us incoherent when we try to speak, or we come across as unsuitable and hard to take seriously. So the less emotional you are when you go to stand up for yourself, and the more neutral is the better for you. Take time to recharge in a way that works for you. This might be taking paper and free-form journaling, furiously and curiously writing about any wild and crazy thing that comes, then ripping up with the pages, or it might look like a long run, a session with a punching bag or punching with the pillows. Number 4 is be sure of what you are standing up for. If we rush into telling someone else what is what, we can end up asking for things we later realize do not even work. We tell them we want them to carry their weight more in a joint project, forgetting to say what parts we still want to do ourselves, or go on about how we want respect, but then end up coming across as not wanting any future contact when we do. Get to the heart of what you need and what you want, not what you think you should need or want, or what others around you seems to think you need or want from the situation. What would actually works for you personally? Just think about it. This is the best done on paper or by talking it out louder to yourself, both of which can draw things from your unconscious into awareness. Talking to someone you can trust can at times be helpful, but if you are the sort who struggles to stand up for yourself, you are also likely to sort who falls into pleasing others. It would be better to talk things through with a professional counselor or a psychotherapist who is trained at listening over giving out advices. Number 5 is communicate in a non-violent and manipulative way. Good communication is an art and a skill. It doesn't come naturally to many, but is sometimes we can all learn and get better with the practice. The key things to keep in mind are be clear and to the point. Do not make excuses or explain which just make you look uncertain and gives the other person leverage to take you down. Just state your needs and your wants. Do not bring blames into it. Start sentences with I and not with you. I feel this about the situation and I want this from the situation. Keep your voices and your energy calm, grounded and open. Take your time when you are speaking. If you feel you are getting angry or want to blame or manipulate, ask if you can continue the conversation at another time and get away. Point number 6 is stick to the subject at hand. Don't bring in another people when talking and called triangling. This looks like keep the conversation to the people in the room and don't bring the past or other situation unless they are directly connected. This is just a backhanded way to bring blame into the mix and you can risk taking the conversation off so topic you end up not standing up for yourself. Point number 7 is be a broken record. What if the other person is trying to blame or manipulate you? If the more you try to stand up for yourself, the more they try to bully you. Then use the broken record technique. This means you repeat the same thing in slightly different way again and again and offer nothing else. For example, let us say you are standing up for yourself by refusing to do a proposal for a colleague and cover for them yet again. This technique would sound like, no, I can't do the proposal for you. It is not possible. No, I can't do it tonight. No, I can't do it. Sorry. No, I am not available this time. Again, do not give excuses or explanation. Just repeat your bottom line. Point number 8 is find the compromise. Sometimes a conversation leads to new information and insight. We realize the other person doesn't disrespect us as they hate us, but because they are insecure, or that our work colleague is secretly attending chemos, which accounts for their exhaustions. New information does not mean here we throw our own wants and needs out of the window. It means we might need to find a middle ground we haven't yet considered. If you are not sure what that is and need to have a think, ask for the time to do so. Now last 9th point is keep trying. If you have spent years living life as a carpet, letting others take advantage of you, standing up for yourself one time is not likely to change everything. Others have a set idea of what you and you are not available for. So it might take a few tries before they get that the deal has changed and you are setting boundaries. Don't feel disheartened if your first attempt at standing up for yourself only achieves a day's worth of respect. See it as one step of the dance changed and keep going. Eventually, others will realize you are serious about the limits that you have stated. And still you have dramas, always having issues with others and often feel rejected, prone to emotional outbursts. It is worth looking into borderline personality disorders, which leads to making negative assumptions about the situation and others. A review of research on the neurocognitive profiles of people diagnosed with BPD shows that it leads to deficient feedback processing, black and white thinking, jumping to conclusions, blaming others, and thinking in ways that make you paranoid. Now let us know how to stand up for yourself with an abuser. What if the person you want to stand up is to actually someone who is abusing you, either physically, sexually, psychologically, or financially? An abuser is not going to suddenly stop being an abuser, and they might see any attempt to negotiate as an excuse to hurt you more. The best way to stand up for yourself with an abuser is to physically stand up and walk away for good. Of course, getting out of abusive relationships is hard as they are addictive and confusing. So use what energy you have available to find support, such as calling a charity or reaching out to trusted friends, and I am sure you will surely find a solution for yourself. Wish you all the great luck. Well, this is it for this video. I hope the tips that we have shared with you will surely help you to find best solution to walk away through all such situations. Well, this is Divya from Tegunity Academy. We'll see you soon in a very new video with some more amazing topics like this. Till then, goodbye. Take care.